As Women's Month draws to an end, we focus on women entrepreneurship and leadership. Maboneng Lombard started out as a nurse, took on the corporate sector in 3 different countries, and is currently a board member of various entities. But she's also a fierce entrepreneur, making things happen in a small but, of course, growing antiques business. Maboneng Foke spent the entire day with her at a Johannesburg establishment. Let's take a look.
Embedded in the heart of Johannesburg is the Maboneng precinct, known for its electrifying culture of fashion, music and art. Today we'll be exploring the city's best-kept secret, focusing on African antique. We'll be speaking to a lady who specializes in that and runs a reputable family business. Join us as we speak to her to learn more about her craft and her personal journey.
I'm Barbara Maboneng Lombard, born and brought up in Soweto. I've had an opportunity to work locally and work overseas. I've been very lucky in life in terms of schooling. I studied as a nursing sister. I progressed. I've held various executive positions, and I'm currently sitting on a few boards, one of them being the International Women's Forum, the Riavaya.
The antique or vintage industry is all about attaching values to items discarded or sold by previous owners. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but for Barbara, it is an art she has mastered.
The artists we just collect what's appealing to their eye. We also are collecting according to our clients' needs. We do get feedback from the client and they tell us exactly the type of pieces they would like to see and have.
If location is the secret ingredient for successful retail, she finds herself where Joburg's factory workers meet the hipsters of Maboneng, every salesperson's dream or nightmare.
We refurbished the chair. Obviously, we did the chair, the cushion, and then we had to redo the frame. It's a bit delicate, so if not looked after very well, it could have a problem. That's where the repurposing comes in. The butler's tray for high teas, of course. The bed throw over there, it is beautiful. It is silk. It is amazing. It's a collection you will never find. And those are the pieces that people come into the store for. They know they'll find something that is completely different and that nobody else has. What do we have here? It's a drinks trolley, and we have vintage wine as well. Look at this one. Look at the years. It is so old, you know. If you look at the price, I think in those days it was 25 rands. It's possibly 2,500 rands now.
It takes a certain degree of chutzpah to make this business work, and Barbara Lombard has it by the bucket load.
Just like that, the secret has been revealed. We got to learn a little bit more about one of the city's influential entrepreneurs in the true essence of Women's Month. Maboneng Foke for ANN7, Maboneng, Johannesburg.
Well, joining us in studio is entrepreneur Barbara Maboneng Lombard. A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I think, you know, a woman of such stature, commanding such presence, I must say, it's an honor to have you in studio today. Also, just the achievements that you've done, managing that balancing act as well, Barbara. I want to know from you, in terms of Women's Month thus far, do you think it's been empowering holistically. How important is the month?
The month is very important. I truly feel it's not even enough. If I look at the amount of work, the nurturing that we do as women, you know, I feel we should have the whole year. We should be honored every day, you know, of our lives. A month is really not enough, but it's a good starting point. We're really doing well. It started off as a day, and now we are at a month, which is wonderful.
Is that glass ceiling still prevalent for women, especially within the corporate space, or do you think it's been lifted somewhat over the years? What more can we do to improve on that?
An interesting question. The glass ceiling is definitely still there, and it depends on how you deal with it and the support that you have around you. And it varies from one environment to the other. It depends on the circumstances as well, personal and the environment itself. In certain areas, you find that the environment is conducive and you don't feel the glass ceiling. However, in others, it is so thick. It is very thick, possibly 10 millimeters thick.
Yeah, and I mean, with that said, we were chatting earlier on about embracing your femininity, but not at the expense of having to take on this butch masculine role in order to command presence and respect. How do you think women are able to balance that somewhat? How do you do it?
You don't want to lose being female. You know, it's not about being butch. It's not about having the broad shoulders, you know, and looking like a man. We still are girls. We still enjoy being girls. We still love our pink colors. However, it's about making sure that you take the space, you own the space, and you take ownership of it without being aggressive and letting go of other things that don't necessarily fit in. And in that way, you earn the respect of your peers in the market.
Now, during that insert we watched, you not only occupy various positions on various boards, but you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a friend. How do you balance, you know, all those titles, still making time for yourself to be grounded and live with purpose?
There's only 24 hours in a day. All of us get the 24 hours.
Yes.
But it's about the energy, you know, the right attitude. When you get out of bed and you say, I have a purpose, and it doesn't matter how small or large, you know, what is important is establishing who you are and what you are capable of doing. And I think the most important thing is being comfortable in your own skin and not trying to be somebody else or something else. Yeah. Being you. That is the most good, and I think for me, a starting point.
Sure. So in terms of that sisterhood and passing on the baton to younger women, etc., do you think those intrinsic values have somewhat been left to the wayside, or do you think slowly but surely we as women are actually pulling together and helping each other succeed as we go along?
There's pockets of excellence, and there's environments where generally it is not happening.
Okay.
And possibly that's where you and I and other women like ourselves that are supposed to take on a little bit more, that's where we need 28 hours in a day, you know, to spend that extra 4 hours with the younger girls, nurturing, mentoring, being role models. I don't think it could ever stop. Role modeling is still a very important thing. And one thing that I've learned, it's all about story sharing. Sharing your leadership story, sharing your life, and saying to younger people, to younger girls, to younger women, I didn't make it to this level without making mistakes. We do make mistakes. As an example, I had a child at the age of 18. You know, and that was a big mistake. You don't do that. But I had very good parents, I had very good role models and sisters that were there for me and held my hand. And I learned a very hard lesson to an extent that I only had my second child 20 years later, and I'm still enjoying her.
So, Barbara, in terms of your chosen field, you've managed to find a gap in the market with the antique business as well. Can you walk us through how that came about and what inspired you to occupy that space in the value chain and market as a whole?
Yes, sure. Being a corporate woman, an executive even, and earning a very good salary, I must say, I used to do vintage. I used to travel the world, I still do, and I would get little collectibles. And people would say, I love that skirt, can I have it? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, yeah, you can have it. And then I love that necklace, I love this, I love that. And I live in a world of abundance. You know, there's been so much around me, and I've been very lucky in life. And then my daughter, especially, you know, she wouldn't want to go to mainstream shopping. You know, when you want to take her to one of these huge malls, she's like, no, I want to go to Parkhurst. Even when we travel, she takes you to places where you find yourself digging, finding stuff. And it started growing on me. And I started having a small collection, which I used to sell quarterly. You know, I incorporated that with my job. Every quarter, I'd have an event at my house, invite a guest speaker, invite women, girls, and we would have a high tea or a cheese and wine. And then I would sell some of these collectibles. And then it moved from a quarter to a month to weekly and eventually to every day. And that's where I am today.
Gee, so in terms of your target market, who are you targeting? I mean, when I hear the word antique, I hear ka-ching, prices escalating. So who are you appealing to at this point?
My target market is basically everybody. I know antique, like you say, you know, the minute you say antique, people think, wow, it's expensive, it's pricey. To be quite honest with you, it is within reach for everybody. I am making it accessible. I am making it possible. I come from an empowering environment, and I learned a lot of principles in that environment. So basically, I am here, and I'm saying, I am here to instill and empower everybody to live a life of significance. And how do you do that? By collecting these pieces, by having this furniture, without paying the price tag that you would normally see in other environments. So it is within reach for the rich, for the middle class, for the lower class. I actually cater for all the LSMs. And I have different people walking into my store every day.
Every day. So if people want to visit your store and also contact you, and obviously, you know, have certain requests, how do they go about doing this?
My number is on Facebook.
Okay.
Lebogang Lombard or Barbara Lombard. I am available on Facebook. I am on Pinterest. I'm also on all the media platforms that the young people can get into. And my store is based in Doornfontein.
Okay. I think just in conclusion, you know, it's the conclusion of Women's Month as well. You're saying that from one day it's now become a month. Let's make it every day in that sense. But what is your advice for young ladies who are entering that space? Like you said, it is about the principles that you've encompassed along the way and the journey. It's about that journey and making the mistakes. What are your words of wisdom for anyone listening out there right now?
I think it's very important for young girls and us as parents to make sure that we don't push our children into something that we want it to be. Everybody has to live their life. Yes, we are there to guide, to nurture, to hold hand, but we need to allow our girls to be themselves, to follow their passion, because often you'll find that she'll end up being something else that she doesn't necessarily want to be. So allow yourself to go into the space that you enjoy. And as a result, guess what? You get up in the morning, you go to work, and it doesn't feel like work. It feels like a holiday every day because it is your passion.
Wow, Barbara, thank you very much for joining us in studio. I'm sure everyone watching has managed to find some inspiration in your story. And also, I'm quite excited to see what you have in store. So I'll definitely come and visit. But thank you for flying the flag high and representing women, not only in South Africa, but the continent and beyond. Keep doing what you do and keep serving. Thank you. Of course, that was entrepreneur, fierce entrepreneur making things happen in a small but growing antique business located in Johannesburg. We chatted in studio to entrepreneur Barbara Lebogang Lombard.